Here is the part of the show with the news.
Oh,
Let's get into
Where?
this.
okay.
Read some headlines.
Oh, this part. Wow.
Let's. Somebody mind shutting off that monitor?
Gone.
Can't see what people are saying about
Headlines
us
of the week.
while we're talking.
They don't want to. We don't want them to spoil the news for us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kind of a slow week. I feel like we're weirdly getting to the end of the games coming out.
Yeah, there's
there's-
obviously there's still stuff coming.
I mean,
but,
yeah, but like Pokemon and Jedi Fallen Order are this week,
yeah,
and Doom got delayed.
right. And the Stadia stuff is next week.
Stadia's next week. Like
Yeah.
Shenmue 3 is apparently still coming.
Sure,
That's not
sure.
true, is it?
And there's like a couple other games in December,
Mhm.
sort of. But like I don't know. I feel like we just kind of like blew through this.
Yeah.
What is supposed to be the heavy release season.
Yeah,
Here we are.
I think I've seen a lot of mixed opinions about the quality of the year so far, and seen some people say like, "Oh, it's been kind of a light year for
Yeah,
games." Like, I don't think so.
That's
I
the
feel like it's been
narrative. But then I went and started trying to like
I think it's been
map out what a personal top 10 might look like, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, there's like
It's
good
been an
15
awesome
or,
fucking year
15
for
or 20
games.
games on here.
There's a lot of stuff. Like even though I don't like 100% of it, like there's been big shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of stuff.
Yeah.
But it is starting to slow down, and I feel like there has been an attendant kind of drop off in news.
Naturally.
But here's what I've got. Sony announced another kind of milestone in what seems like sort of an ongoing shuffle in management.
Yeah.
They're dropping like flies over there.
Well,
What's going on?
I'm not saying anybody's dropping exactly.
What's going on?
In this case? Herman Holst, previously head of Guerrilla,
Mhm.
maker of Killzone and Horizon Zero Dawn, has been promoted to run Worldwide Studios for Sony,
Yeah.
which
Congrats.
is essentially like their kind of umbrella term for like all of their internal development,
Like first party. Yeah.
more
Cool.
or less. They mentioned in this press release that it's 14 studios, and I'm going to pull up a list because I kind of want to just refresh my memory of exactly what all of those are.
This, 989.
Yep.
No, what do they call them now? The baseball people. They're not.
Are they
989 anymore.
are they San Diego Studio?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
San Diego Studio is on this list
Okay.
in North America. Santa Monica Studio,
Okay.
Bend Studio.
Bend. They did Days Gone.
That's right. Naughty Dog.
And they're also credited on Death Stranding a little bit.
Oh, huh.
That sounds like a lot of Sony.
Interesting.
There's a lot of Sony credits on Death Stranding.
Interesting. Yeah. Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
They have a San Mateo Studio.
Well,
But
is that
Not the
What they
office?
did.
that's just the main
Well,
office?
that's their corporate office.
Oh,
They
okay.
do some
But
stuff.
I believe
there.
they recently have started doing
Okay.
development out of there.
All right.
I think it's
Cool.
recent enough. Well, this is described as the core collaborators. So yeah, maybe it's just
Yeah, maybe
centralized
Yeah.
development resources around everything else they do. Let's see. I think their page is broken. The buttons for Europe and Japan do not work.
What the hell's going on over there?
Great.
So that's all I've got for you.
Great.
Obviously, they've got Gorilla,
Yeah.
Media Molecule.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think what else. Like Japan, I think is the one that is like the most
Just
kind of
Japan
mysterious to me
Studio,
because Japan
yeah.
Studio is just the only
a
name,
blanket.
kind of the only name that I
term.
know that they have over there.
Yeah.
Although they obviously do a lot of development in Japan. Anyway, Herman Holst, who's been running Gorilla for some time, has moved up to run that whole effort.
Right.
And Shuhei Yoshida, who was he still in that role?
Yeah, he
It
was.
was. Yeah.
Okay, I thought that he had transitioned out of that role already.
No, I'm pretty sure he was still.
Because I thought Sean Layden had some direct involvement with Worldwide Studios in addition
Well,
to running US.
They shuffled. I think the organizational change they made, very exciting, is that instead of having individual heads of territories, so when Jack Tretton had that position, and then the first days of Sean Layden having that position,
right, and like Jim Ryan was the
Jim Ryan ran Europe,
counterpart in Europe.
yeah, and Tretton and then Layden ran North America,
Right.
And so on. The change they made, though, I think, is at some point they just said Jim Ryan's the guy, and so a guy like Layden reported in that way, and so the need for someone to quote unquote run North America, I think, really changed, and that job probably changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
And
And then Sean Layden, just in the last couple months?
yeah, not
has
that long ago.
exited the company.
Uh-huh. and now you have Herman Holst running Worldwide Studios, which is a decision I assume Jim Ryan would make.
Yeah, it very much seems like hey, let's try to centralize,
let's consolidate power in Europe.
Leadership out of Europe
Yeah.
as much as possible.
Yeah. That's
Yoshida, or Ashu to his fans.
sure.
It's this press release is interesting because they say he's stepping into a new role where he's going to be kind of overseeing and cultivating indie talent,
Right.
but they don't have a name for what that new initiative is.
And also
Or department or whatever. Like there's not a lot of info on
The Shoe Crew.
I love it.
Okay.
Great.
We're going to go with that.
It
Yeah.
rhymes.
So they've been doing that. Sony used to be known quite a bit for working with indie developers.
Yeah,
They
totally.
put them on E3 stages
Yeah.
and all sorts of stuff.
I mean, to be fair, they've kind of fallen away from promoting it as much.
They don't,
right?
yeah, they don't promote it as much, but it's not like no indie games are coming to that platform,
Yeah.
and they don't have people behind the scenes working on that sort of stuff. So I don't what is that job? What is that? What does he actually do? Like the press release is so ambiguous about what that means for him that it almost sounds like a fake job.
A new company initiative focused on celebrating external developers that are creating new and unexpected experiences for the gaming community.
What?
That's the description. But
Yeah,
they don't give like a name to this title or a department that maybe.
Yeah, like
created
is he building a
along
team?
with
Is
this.
he taking the people that already work with indie developers internally at Sony and,
Yeah.
and now they report to
Yeah,
like it just
he's also not quoted in this press release, so I don't know. It's
Uh-huh.
hard to say
yeah.
what exactly this means. But anyway,
it's
whatever.
it's all weirdly ambiguous
Yeah.
about that end of things.
And this may all come off as just a bunch of like dry corporate bureaucracy type
Sure,
stuff.
yeah.
But like, we're 12 months away from a new PlayStation.
and you got
like,
a
I
lot
feel
of people
like-
getting out of there.
I feel like it's definitely relevant to see the management changing this much,
Yeah.
this close to a new platform launch.
Right.
Because like,
You can take that to obviously like there's a certain and whatever, people can change jobs at any time, but there's a certain aspect of like, hey, do I want I went through the PS4, I made my mark on gaming, and maybe I want to go on to bigger and better things, or I'm going to parlay that into a different position elsewhere. Like that sort of stuff happens, but also that idea of like, do I want to sign up for this again? Do I want to do another 5 years of this?
Sure.
Whether or not what this is has changed or not, they're going to have some people that do that have to do that calculation, and then I think you've got some people that might look at the structure of the place and go, I don't think I want to work in this environment, or this is no longer the like something has changed and I'm not okay with it, or whatever. Different people leave for different reasons. We can only really speculate. But yeah,
A lot of moving and shaking
sure,
going on.
yeah.
And again, I just think it's extra interesting in light of
They've got a console coming out.
New
Like,
hardware
it's- yeah.
platform is barreling down on us.
But also, like, that stuff's probably pretty well in hand. Like, you almost wonder, like, you hear a lot that Nintendo of America doesn't really call shots, right? That they're primarily like a sales and marketing organization. They localize, obviously, you know,
Right.
and they do like third-party publishing, indie publishing, like all that. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the U.S. office.
Yeah, but the fundamental big picture business
Right.
decisions are being made.
Like, no one in the U.S. is going like, I think Mario should be, like no one's doing that. And that's the story you hear anyway, is that all those shots just come down from Japan and they're just like, here's what we're doing, sell it. And you wonder if Sony is becoming more like that. Like they've definitely like globalized a lot of their efforts, and are duplicating some of that stuff a little bit less than they used to. You instead of just like, okay, here's our European PR team, and a lot of companies did this. Like Capcom did this, Sega has done this. Like we talked to, it used to be like everyone was regional, but when we want to talk to Sega about PC games, it's the European team.
Right.
When we want to talk to them about Japanese stuff, I think it's like what was the Atlas US team in some cases, because a lot of they have different style of press releases on their emails,
Right.
and the Sega US, the Sega that you think of as Japanese Sega, those press releases look like the old Atlas press releases.
Right. Yeah. You're right.
Whereas the stuff
Sure.
about Total War and all that other stuff looks completely different.
Yep.
Like different looking emails, all that different stuff. And so like a lot of companies have gone through that process of like, maybe we don't need a zillion different regional like people Maybe we can consolidate some of this stuff. So I
'Cause,
wonder
15,
if like Sony seems to be doing
maybe
something
so.
like that.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
like 15 years ago, we were over here working in this market and like hearing about something in, say, the European market or like the European
right, yeah,
Sony PR felt like a different world. Like you had no insight into
exactly
how other regions were run.
Yeah, you're just
and-
I hear Charlotte Panthers over there doing something crazy,
Right.
Whatever it was. Yeah,
But like if they were running something, then the people you worked with here didn't necessarily like have a lot of insight into it.
right. Yeah, I was like, oh, Europe held an event for this game.
Right, yeah,
and,
exactly.
And also they have a totally different embargo than the U.S. event.
That's really
so
what it was.
Suddenly,
Yeah.
all this European media and it's the internet, so it's all just getting posted online.
Right. It's like they had a totally different coverage plan. And
Yeah, but everyone in the U.S. is in the dark about it. And they're
Right.
like, what the fuck? You did what?
Yeah.
Like that was usually the conversation, was a lot of people like saying or saying to us about their European team, or whether they said it directly or not. Like, what the fuck did you just do? Why'd you let them in with the camera?
Did you really show them the plasma rifle?
Why is this German site showing screenshots of the plasma rifle? We weren't going to reveal that. That was going to be on the cover of GamePro. I had the cover of GamePro lined up for this rifle. All that bullshit doesn't happen anymore, and it's all on the internet. So yeah, you could argue that the need for regional teams is significantly lessened,
Sure.
or regional teams that are calling shots, right? I mean, like you probably have a global strategy about how information about your game gets out there now, and you probably have people on the ground at different territories to run like an event or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wonder if that's the strategy, or that's some of the changes in Sony about how they handle their business, or just like kind of things that are along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
But you have situations like that where that's going to happen, and people are going to be like, well, wait, my job is to do that here. Okay, I'm leaving. Like you're going to have shit like that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's mostly just interesting to me because like look at the last like 2-3 generations, right? Like dominance, nothing is inevitable, nothing is
Right.
fated. Like dominance has basically changed hands back and forth.
Yep.
For the last,
Yeah.
2-3 consoles.
Yeah. The PS3 was not the dominant. In the end, the PS3 sales were
Fine,
great. If you look at
but they lagged for a while.
they lagged for a while.
Like it gave Microsoft that in.
Right.
Like Microsoft wedged their foot in the door and then like kicked it open
Totally.
at the beginning of that generation.
Yeah.
After the PS2
If
was
the
basically-
PS3 had been as dominant as the PS2 was out of the gate, you might not have an Xbox One.
Yeah. Yes, but then look at what happened with that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like-
Yes. You had. Yes. No one hold on to it forever.
Right. So like regardless of what's going on right now in terms of install base and stuff, like for good or ill,
Mm-hmm.
a new console is just like wiping the slate clean.
Yeah.
in
in a lot
that,
of ways.
all that capital and goodwill you've built up can just go away.
And the new console stuff, like, oftentimes that stuff is like a small team working on that stuff and then coming down from the mountain with it and being like, here's
Right.
what we made.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
where it gets interesting to me, and a year out having all these management shuffles happening is that like a lot of business decisions still have to get made, right?
Right, but a lot of-
like how are we going to sell games on a platform that can run old games? Like, do those games?
Right.
Is the idea of a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 5 version of a game even relevant at this point? How are we going to make people buy the same game twice?
Exactly.
There's a bunch of like policy decisions.
Mm-hmm.
How much do we charge for people to stream stuff?
Yeah. But by and large, like the specs of that console are
Yeah,
done.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to distinguish from like the box.
Right, yeah.
Is all kind of set in stone more or less at this point, right?
So
But
the
like,
services end of it.
how do
or
you
the,
how do you require people to buy and further pay into this platform? Like that's the stuff that still needs to get decided, probably, right?
I would guess. I would think at this stage, both a Sony and a Microsoft would have real good ideas about
yeah.
how they want it to go.
Yeah.
And maybe they're working through, like, is this actually feasible? Because, like, think about it. That's a conversation that has to involve third parties. And third parties, many of them have been disclosed on the new machines already. That's happening, or happened, I guess. But you have to wonder, like, does that become a part of that conversation? Does someone have to, like, go out to Capcom and be like, hey, we just want Monster Hunter World to work on a PlayStation 5. Are you cool with that? And then does Capcom have to sign off on it? Like, it depends on how, does it just run the same code, or does work have to be done? Like, all the backwards compatibility stuff on the Xbox One sounded like it was all business arrangements, and third parties had to pick and choose what they would do. And so the catalog was never what you would want it to be because it became a victim of business.
Mm-hmm.
and some games never come back because they have to go back and do the rights, and that's not worth it for them to do. So yeah, I don't know. I'm incredibly fucking fascinated to see where this business goes from here, because there's so much wild shit that is just like, you know, a yearish away from kicking off. You know, it's whatever. It's, you know, it's going to be kicking off across that year in different forms.
I'm pretty sure I want to say the PS4 announcement was in like a February or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, that sounds right. I remember going to New York pretty early in the year.
Yeah. February 20th, 2013. Yeah. So yeah, we could be like 3 months away
from like a full reveal.
3-4 months, some kind of formal. I mean, they've said the name and the date or the general release window already, so that stuff's already out there.
But like, you know, announce a game.
Yeah,
you know, go there. Right?
I can't remember.
Like, what are they going to show a box? Are they going to?
Yeah, you went to that thing.
I did. Yeah.
They did not show a box at that thing, did they? I don't think they did. Didn't they save that for E3?
That was E3. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is when we had Adam on with the case of that thing.
That's right.
Like right after they had shown it.
Isn't that thing like super heavy?
It was hollow.
Was it?
It had like a light built into it to light up like it was real.
Nice. I think he brought a controller too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
And then we drove home from LA with that thing in the car.
Contraband.
Yeah, pretty like kind of.
Yeah.
Someone was not stoked about him having that thing.
Next year's going to be wild.
Yeah,
potentially.
Whatever, you know, like the streaming shit too. Like, is that going to have any real impact, or when will that have a real impact on games?
Right.
It's probably not next week.
No, we'll get to. Well, actually, we just talk about that now.
All right,
if you want.
Sure.